One of the main things people are doing here is having an internal battle between the idea that all of that is there and fixed and knowable, and you can put it in a book, and there are laws, and so on and so forth. And if you're taking that view, then you take a stance. You either take a stance or you're a fence sitter, right? It's an internal between that or accepting your knowledge as knowledge and power. It's not even knowledge, it's just power. As creator. Creator with a little c, with a big C, whichever you like. Which means that you're creating. So all this talk about this or that or the other thing, or such and so group is doing this, or mind controlled dudes are doing that. Saturn is fucking us all with forcing us to be under time. Whichever. If you're taking the stance that there's a very certain fixed something that's happening, then whenever you acknowledge that with regards to specific groups of humans or whatever else, if you're putting them in a power position with regards to yourself, then you're under their power. And I promise you that you are still creator, whether you're doing that or not, and you're powerful enough that when you give these external groups power, it will physically, literally, in your reality manifest for you. And for some people, that's more comforting than the alternative, which is that the whole thing is a quantum flux, and none of these negative things must affect me if I don't wish them to. And for some people, that's a scary thought, because that means 100% personal responsibility for the reality that you currently find yourself within. In all of my exploring of this realm, when I still was operating from fear, the highest potential for fear came when all of the ground went away. And I mean all of it. I don't mean like the physical ground. I mean every single shred of a firmament, a ground, a mental ground, an emotional ground, a time ground, a spatial ground, something solid. When that went away, that was the most terrifying thing for me, because that's total freedom, and people don't want total freedom. It's scary. So they carve their niche of personal freedom out from this morass of control structures. And they take stance with regards to those control structures. And the control structures go on and on and on. You're not going to find an end to them. You're not going to fix them. But as a being that, look, you either have power to do something in your reality or you don't. And if you have some power, then you probably have more power than you think. If you've been holding on to notions And I know the argument will come up that says, well, hey, I've been a targeted individual. These things are real, I'm not arguing that. I know they're real. I also know they're not real for everybody. The power that comes with the ability to do things here is not something that is given lightly. And I think we can all feel the reason for that if you search around, because if beings are operating within a myopic viewpoint and they're holding on to this giant energy thing that they can tell it to do anything they want, this is just a theoretical possibility I'm talking about, and they haven't yet mastered their inner state, or at least are on the way to doing that, then this is all known as well, what happens when somebody has power that they don't know what they're doing with. Or they're operating from some form of ego protection or corporation protection or faction protection, whatever. And they're doing something that's going out there and having ripple effects to the whole, which is how it works. They're doing so in blindness. Well, that's a power that they don't deserve. And eventually it will be taken away from them because they're causing harm in ways that they don't understand. I have a feeling that even the negative entities, the ones that say took on the role of, playing the shadow hand for everybody here who's working on themselves, even those ones, when they catch a glimpse of the ramifications of what they're doing, I would say it's even difficult to stay on that for them. You can only do this kind of thing, this kind of selfish or egoic thing, you can only do that when you're still at some level of blindness. It's not possible otherwise. And so in that respect, you're not held accountable for your actions, which are far-reaching, until you've become responsible and you know what you're doing. At that point, you're held accountable. And it's not all serious, it's not all so heavy, there's playfulness and creativity involved, but the myopic view must be transcended before any of that can even start to happen. The work is calling me, I gotta go, but just some thoughts. Hope everybody's doing well. Peace.